Hello, I'm Les Bennett, representing the American Association of Pharmaceutical Scientists, and have the pleasure of serving as the interviewer for a series of videos on distinguished pharmaceutical scientists throughout the world. It is the association's hope and belief that these videos will serve as a very nice record and a perspective for young scientists to view the historical giants in our field. And today we definitely have a giant in our field, Professor Tsuneji Nagai from Japan, the former president of Hoshi University and the founder of the Nagai Foundation. That's now almost more than 25 years old. And an extremely successful pharmaceutical scientist. So, Professor Nagai, yes, we are very pleased to have you here.
Thank you. Very nice.
So, I think it would be worthwhile for our audience to know your history in terms of training.
Yes.
You know, where you went to school.
Okay.
Yeah.
I graduated from the University of Tokyo at BS, MS, PhD. Then I had some 10 years work of the research associate at the University of Tokyo. Then moved to the Hoshi University. So about 20, almost 30 years education job at the Hoshi University. Then retired, and you kindly visited for my retirement celebration. And then a couple of years later, I would be the president of the Hoshi University. And totally finished about 9 years ago. Then still I'm some job for foundation, just not so heavy work.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, you're a drug delivery scientist.
Yes.
I think the world thinks of you as a drug delivery scientist. And how did you become interested in drug delivery?
Oh, in your case, the biological, mine rather physical one. And then I studied with very huge in my postdoctor. Then my major is rather oriented to the physical pharmacy. And then I think after I moved to the Hoshi University, I have it's a private university, so plenty of students come to my laboratory. So we can they like student like a soldier, like a soldier, work with them, and then make some. I had to give many subjects to this. So we need plenty of one of them, and that's like adhesive one.
Adhesive?
Yeah, because it was. I have a very good contact with and Teijin. Teijin is a very originally the very biggest, one of the biggest textile company. That about 40 years ago, in Japanese chemical industry moved to the pharmaceutical industry.
Yeah.
Then they need some consultant. At that time, I moved to the Hoshi University. They give me the chance to be the consultant and advise me. They have no pharmaceutical scientist there. So sometime I made some, so how to say, some an interview for the newcomer freshman of the company. Yeah. And yes, so I thought originally the Teijin is rather chemistry oriented. Then yeah. My job is also and the other have some other many company, and but product the 3 products is on the market. This is maybe quite I'm lucky. If I have some make contact with Takeda or some big company, they don't interested to my job. But the Teiji is the first pharmaceutical business started the company, so they are very much interested in my. So
Good.
Finally, they make it and it's called commercial products.
Well, okay, so all right, so they had no pharmaceutical scientists. Did you take these soldiers at Hoshi University in your laboratory?
Yes.
They did the work for Teijin?
Yes,
Yeah, okay,
yes.
so the work was done at Hoshi.
Oh, yeah, that's
yeah.
mainly basic one is done, but so development work is need of company.
Was done in the company.
That was done by the Teijin company.
Yeah, okay.
And application to the government and take license. So I'm not familiar with such a business.
Okay. So what were the three products that are commercial products? What are the three products?
First one was aftertouch. It's aftertouch is adhesive to the mucosa. So in Japan we have after stomatitis is one of the very special disease for young Japanese. And then I have many students. The students about their age is just suffered from such after stomatitis.
Stomatitis.
Yeah. Then before the beginning, I had some various the job previously. It was another company. Then the microcrystalline cellulose. Microcrystalline cellulose is developed first invented in the United States. But it was imported by the Asahi Kasei to use other pharmaceutical excipient in the. Then now such product is used for many tablet experience.
Okay, so it's just a basic excipient.
Excipient.
And it's your product.
Yes, there are another HPC. HPC is Teijin.
Yeah.
And Christian Cellulose is the other company.
Yeah.
And the HPC, I started on HPC, following to make pharmaceutical experience and
Okay.
yeah.
So HPC is your invention.
Yes.
Fantastic
No,
invention.
HPC is the application is my invention.
Oh, yeah, okay. The application.
Yes.
Okay, and for the stomatitis drug, what was the drug that it released?
The corticosteroid, triamcinolone acetonide.
Okay, so a corticosteroid.
Yes.
Okay.
But HPC is very for final product we need double-blind test for the using a human subject, and then the only the HPC is also very effective for effective ratio. How do you say? Ratio is 80%. But if you put the corticosteroid, 90%. Very, very huge product like such a high effectiveness.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So those products and the income from those products allowed you to create the foundation. Was the foundation
Yes.
from?
Yes, I have no children, so money was just extra for me. So my colleagues suggested me to fund the research supporting foundation. It was 1986. The time was just I received the Histomath Medal FFP. Then my colleague suggested to make such a foundation.
Yeah, so that's very nice. So Professor Nagai is a Hoshi Madsen Medal. He's the first first Asian to win the Host
Yeah,
Madden.
that's right, that's
First
right.
Asian to win the Host Madden Medal, which is the Outstanding Pharmaceutical Scientist Award from the FIP, and took that opportunity to celebrate winning and all of these successes and put the foundation. And the foundation has done so much good work. You should be very proud of
Yeah,
it.
yes. It's, maybe the grant money is not so much for every party, but total number of the awardee recipient is now 1,500, more than 1,500, and of course
1,500 award winners.
award winners. And
Yeah,
one of the distinguished the lectureship for the Professor Bennett is also one of the we are proud.
Yeah.
And the other now there's 3 Nobel laureates are included in the distinguished lectureship.
That's
So,
wonderful. That is wonderful. And it's been very, I mean, but, so yes, there are lectures and things, but the major function is for training young people. Right?
Yes,
Yeah, I mean, that's the
so, yes.
great,
Yes, among 1,500, among 1,000 students or young pre-doctor, postdoctor, very young people.
yeah, so about 2/3 of the funds have gone to, the awardees have been that.
Yeah.
That is wonderful. So also at that time, so all this was a very busy time. So you are president of Hoshi University, you win the Host Madsen Medal, you create the foundation, but you also found APSTJ
Yes,
at the same time.
The time was the same as you when you established the AAPS. Almost same.
Yeah. So give us what was the objective? What was the purpose? Because there's a very strong Pharmaceutical Society of Japan, and what's the purpose of the APSTJ?
Yes, APSTJ is rather new pharmaceutical sciences. We have a very traditional old pharmaceutical science society. It's Pharmaceutical Society of Japan. Very traditional. Very more than 130 years old. And they are not so much interested in the biopharmacy or some like PKPD sciences. So, but we are very much influenced by the US or European pharmaceutical sciences, and then and also we are also studied by the Professor Takeru Higuchi, the new worldwide new pharmaceutical sciences. So I myself is also influenced to such new one. Then I wanted to establish a new pharmaceutical science society. That's a PhD.
That's good. Yeah. The Academy of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology of Japan is what that abbreviation stands for. But also at the same time, or very close to this time, you also founded the Asian Society of Pharmaceutical Sciences.
Yes.
Also, so tell us about that.
And in Asia is very low. Maybe whole Asia is influence of Japanese pharmaceutical sciences. That means very rich. So, but already in Europe, they have UHEPS, the European Federation for Pharmaceutical Sciences, and we have a very small group to discuss pharmaceutics with the Korean scientists. Then the number, the member was very small, but we are they wanted to extend it to the whole Asia. Then now it's the Asian Federation for Pharmaceutical Sciences. And then just coming next week, we'll have a fourth Congress in Korea.
In Korea.
Korea.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you are very influential in many areas, but I also know some touchy things because I know that you were instrumental in serving as the intermediary for the Chinese Pharmaceutical Association becoming part of FIP.
Yes, right.
Now, just for our group to tell you that the Taiwan was a member of FIP, and they are still a member of FIP. And so, this is a number of years ago. I don't know how many years ago, but we go back a number of years ago. There was a lot of the Taiwanese and the Chinese didn't want to be in the same organization. And I know that Professor Nagai was the intermediary that made this happen. So can you give us a little history of that?
Yes. In the the Second World War, in the Taiwan, President Taiwan Pharmaceutical Association located in the mainland China. But there is some Chinese revolution. Then how to get out to the mainland China. Then they moved to the Taiwan. But then at that reason there was no FIP representing Pharmaceutical Association in China. Then Chinese Pharmaceutical Association wanted to join too, because the Chinese people, both Taiwan and Chinese, also very proud nationality to get good recognition, worldwide recognition. Then at 1986, I was elected as one of the vice president of FIP. Then the time is Chinese Pharmaceutical Association requested me to coordinate to its joining to the FIP, and it takes very Chinese and Taiwan is no how do you say diplomatic relation.
Right, no diplomatic relation.
So it's very difficult to make political. It's not science. Political, very difficult. So then I flew to the Beijing. Next after that, they to the Taiwan. So like shuttle. Then sometime I invited the boss of the delegate to Tokyo and make a negotiation.
In your office?
Oh, yes. Then it took 6 years negotiation. Very complicated, and only the name of the society is very important. So, and finally, the Chinese Pharmaceutical Association joined to the FIP.
But I know that it is your efforts that made that happen, and I think we are all appreciative and know the political sensitivity. You have also been, you've done a lot of work with Miramar, and tell us a little bit about that.
Japanese Prime Minister sometime go around the world, and then stop at Burma. Burmese people asked my Prime Minister to give me the development center of pharmaceutical technology. Then Prime Minister said, yes, okay. And they returned. There is no specialist to such some fields. So government requested me to organize some supporting committee of the scientific and technical point of view, the new Burma Development Center for Pharmaceutical Technology. So I often visit to
in Miramar.
Burma, Burma, maybe more.
In Rangoon?
Rangoon, yes, it's now Yangon. But now the government changed.
Yeah, right.
We did for the former government.
Okay.
Now the military government. So after change to the military government, there is no contact with right now. We are so it also took 6 years to construct the Burma.
Yeah.
And one of my colleagues stayed there to as a representative of our committee and some online committee and the making committee. And then he stayed 1 year and a half. During then, he got a farming lady. The one is a very good harvest. And he got married with a Burmese lady.
Okay.
That's the one.
Okay. So 1986 was a really important year.
Yes.
Because not only was AAPS founded, but Professor Nagai won the Hoshi Medal, so he became a vice president of FIP. He served in this role, well, he founded the ASPTJ. He was serving as the Asian Pharmaceutical Sciences organization. He was working with Rangoon and Burma. He was working with the Chinese. So did you have any time to do Hoshi University? Or
Of course. But very busy.
Yeah.
And fortunately, Hoshi University is a private university, not so strict the regulation in the, like a government university. Maybe government university is rather some occupied by some regulation that.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about pharmaceutical sciences in Japan and its development, because I think it has become one of the leading areas of the world.
Yes,
and maybe you could talk about that development.
Okay. But traditional Japanese pharmaceutical science is very much oriented to the chemistry. And before the end of the Second World War, we don't have the department of pharmaceutics. And the pharmaceutics is from U.S. Occupation group that came to Japan and suggested to strongly
after the Second World War.
Second World. Then after that, I just mentioned Professor Takeru Higuchi also a good variable advisor to give us. Then now and also and a few years later, Japan, U.S. Japan biopharmaceutics symposium was born.
Right.
Then gradually getting a bit bigger. Now the maybe so the size is very smaller to the old traditional pharmaceutical society of Japan, but I think power is very close to the traditional one. And then we have now the like PK PD group is strong, and like and also you good give us good advice, and then that's a very good reason to coming up to the present stage.
Okay, so I also know, and I don't think many of my American colleagues will know, that you are a recipient of the Emperor's Purple Medal?
Purple Medal.
Purple Medal,
Yes.
which is you got when you were 77? Or?
Yes. Maybe in the pharmaceutical field, maybe all the Japanese pharmaceutical scientists received several awards of the pharmaceutical field. I was the first one, so that means that gradually our field is going up
and being recognized at all levels.
Yes.
And in the government. What do you think is there good support from the Japanese government for the pharmaceutical sciences in the national universities in Japan? Do they support well?
Yes. national university is rather very scientific one, and private university the production of pharmacists. So almost maybe divided. So pharmacy and the government university people are not so much interested in pharmacists. So, but private university produce pharmacists. So we have to, power of the pharmaceutical scientists in government pharmaceutical government universities stronger than private. So, and usually the government university department of pharmacy is not so much interested in pharmaceutical practice. So we, I think I have to, it's my duty for me to take care of such a pharmacist. So
okay.
Now I'm now present big job is to internationalization of pharmacists to remove the medical doctor the dispensing.
Ah, yes. Okay, so I think I know that Japan is the only country in the G7 that physicians can still dispense.
Yes.
And this is an effort that you are working.
Now, still very the medical the power of medical association is very strong, and they would like to keep the right concerned medicine to, and they wouldn't like to throw away the medicine. Still, that's different from Europe and the United States. Yeah. So it takes maybe a long time.
Do you think it will happen?
Yeah.
You think so?
I think so.
Okay. So you have also been a leader in being sure that Japanese pharmaceutical scientists are members of the international organizations, of FIP, of the Controlled Release Society.
Yes.
You were the president of the Controlled
Release
Society. Yeah, president of the Controlled Release Society, and always a very good attendant at AAPS.
I tried. I tried. Yes, our colleague, maybe our colleague attends not the traditional pharmaceutical society. So.
But this has been something I think you have been a big. You have been a big advocate, and I think we are all grateful to you.
Thank you.
To do that. So, you are very accomplished, and you've done much. Do you have goals still? I know one of your goals would be changing the rule about dispensing for physicians. But are there other goals that you have for the foundation of what you would like to see in the future?
Yes, I would like to change this from pharmaceutical sciences to the pharmaceutical sciences. Also, the not basic science, not only the basic science, but used for the good balance of the science and the profession.
In the clinic,
Yes, that's pharmaceutical sciences. So I would like to make make a good science of to the complete pharmaceutical science. Would be the having a good balance of science and technology and the profession.
Okay, so we are very honored that you came and shared this time with us. You have been certainly the outstanding leader in the pharmaceutical sciences in Japan, worldwide. Your impact has been fantastic. We are all very pleased and honored, and I am pleased to be a Nagai recipient, Nagai Foundation recipient, and I thank you very much for coming today.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay.